Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a different type of video. I know I did that with my last one too, but I've had some family and friends message me saying they wanted me to talk about some certain stuff. So I decided to kind of try this out in a more let's get real type of video. So go ahead, pull up a chair, relax, grab something hot to drink. It's rainy where I'm at today. And let's get real. Okay, so I've had several people requesting that I talk a little bit about my infertility journey and kind of what's going on with that. So that's kind of what this video is going to be about. I'm sorry if that's not what you come to my channel for. I've been debating whether to really kind of talk about it yet because, we're just in the beginning process of all of that. But I also promised on my blog that I would be very open about all of it. So I guess it's time to talk about it on my channel. So when I was previously married, we were married for 5 years. We never had kids. I do have what they call polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. Basically what happens is my hormones and insulin levels are all out of whack. And so it makes it so that getting pregnant or ovulating even is hard. Recently, I did a chit chat, get ready with me kind of video, and I talked a little bit about how I was going to the doctor. So I went to the doctor for the initial visit, and he said, there's a good chance you're not ovulating. Come back in a week. We'll run some blood tests and we'll know for sure. So a week later, I went back. I got blood tests done. And I got a call a couple days later saying that I'm not ovulating. When I got the news, I initially handled it okay. But after about 2 hours, I broke down. I started to bawl because I felt broken. My body wasn't doing something as basic and as fundamental as ovulating. And that was really, really hard for me. I really just kind of lost it. I kind of hid out from my husband. I watched a show that would kind of just let me process out the rest of the feelings, and he came downstairs and he asked me how I was doing, and I said I'm not okay. And I just broke down. And all he did was cuddle me and hug me and let me cry in his arms. I mean, seriously, I won the jackpot with my husband. He's better than I ever deserve. And he was having a hard time with it too. So he was kind of off doing his thing to kind of help him process and all of that kind of stuff as well. But later, we went out to dinner, and as time has gone on, we've got a game plan in place. So I'm going to go ahead and share kind of what we've decided for now. Rather than starting Clomid right away, what we want to do is we want to see how being on metformin goes. Metformin is just to help regulate the insulin. It's generally a medication recommended for someone with diabetes to help them regulate their blood sugars. But it affects the insulin levels, and for whatever reason, people with PCOS, it works very well. It can make you very sick if you don't have diabetes, if you're taking too much. And so we're going to see how it goes being on the metformin, and then, I lost my train of thought, and then trying to lose some weight before we start going on Clomid. Because the Clomid itself isn't that expensive, but the ultrasound you have to have every month is, because it's not covered by insurance, because it's covered under, it's marked under infertility. And so insurances don't cover that kind of stuff. Anyway, so we decided we were going to take the next 6 months or so, we're going to save up, and we're going to try to see if I can start ovulating on my own. I haven't been on metformin for years because the last time I was on it, I was very, very sick. So I've been on it I'm about to start my 4th week tomorrow that I've been on it. And the first couple weeks were okay, but they've slowly been upping my dose over the last couple of weeks. this last week, they've had me on 1,500 milligrams of metformin, which is quite a bit. And I've started to feel pretty sick most of the time. I've also done some other things like cut out caffeine. I'm trying to cut back on carbs, all those kind of things as well. And I'm also walking. I've got a walking buddy, and she's fantastic. We're really good to go most days. Today we didn't go because of the weather. But, most days we're pretty good to go. There was 4 or 5 days, maybe 6, that we didn't really go just because our schedules wouldn't really mesh up. But I always tried to do something active or go on a walk later with my husband or go earlier just by myself. Like, I've always kind of tried to work that out. It doesn't always work, but I've always tried. Anyway, so as I said, the last week, the metformin has actually made me pretty sick. Tomorrow I'm supposed to start taking 2,000 milligrams. And if I'm as sick as I am now, the next couple of days, I'm going to have to call my doctor and say anything over 1,000 milligrams is just too much. I just get too sick to where it's really hard to function. It's hard. I mean, I have a sister-in-law who's been through infertility as well, and she said 500 milligrams was almost too much for her. Anything over that really made her sick. So, being at 1,000 milligrams before I get sick is pretty good, I think. Considering the doctor wants me on 2,000. To be halfway there, I think is pretty good. Maybe over time we could slowly up it again, but I think right now it's just too much. So anyway, so for now we're just kind of trying to see how it goes on our own before we, start the Clomid, all that kind of stuff. Because if we're going to invest that time and that money and that journey, we want to make sure we've done everything we can to make sure. I keep saying to make sure. We want to make sure. There I go again. We want to know we've done everything we can to put our best foot forward in this process. With PCOS, one of the symptoms is sudden weight gains. Since we got married last fall, I gained 50 pounds pretty quick. I haven't continued to gain. I've pretty much maintained with what I've been doing. We're hoping the metformin helping my body will help the weight start to come back off again. I'm sure if I got more vigorous with my workouts or much more stringent with my diet, that the weight loss would happen a lot faster, which we're looking at doing. It's been almost a month now, and so we're kind of seeing that, we need to make some more solid changes if this is going to happen. So anyway, I'm sure some of you are bored to death and didn't really want to hear all of that, but in the LDS culture, I mentioned in my last video that I'm LDS, so if you didn't catch that, yes. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and family is a huge part of our culture. We're in a family ward now, and we're in a family ward where most people have at least one child, if not more, or they're currently pregnant with their next one. And I have to admit, the first Sunday we attended our new ward was Mother's Day. And I saw this little army of children. Oh, God, I'm going to lose it. This army of children go up to the podium to sing Mother's Day songs. And every year I cry, whether even the years I wasn't married, I cried. Because one of my greatest desires in life is to be a mother. And to be 30 years old now and not be a mother in the LDS culture is, it's becoming more common because a lot more people have struggles with infertility, but it's still not the norm. I mean, getting married at 29 wasn't the norm either. I mean, it's happening more, but it's still not the norm. The norm is, girls are married sometime between 18 and 22 typically. And, they're starting to have kids within the first couple of years of their marriage. And so most Most of my friends by the time we were 25 had at least one child. I had several friends that were done having kids by then. They had 3 or 4 and they were done. And so to be that far behind is really hard. So when I was married to my first husband, I didn't understand. Like, I just felt like I was broken and that God didn't love me enough to give me a child. Hindsight is always 2020. So, now I understand why I didn't have children with my first husband. I do. He was never, in his own way, he was a good guy, but he was never meant to be the father of my kids. My husband now was always supposed to be the father of my kids. And, no disregard to my first husband, but that's the only man I would really want to be the father of my kids. My husband is wonderful with children. My friends could come over for something and they can bring their kids, and my husband would just bring them up here in our bedroom, put a movie on that they like, and keep them entertained for a little while. And he enjoys it. I wouldn't have to worry about the safety of the children. And, my first husband had a pretty decent temper on him, so I think I would always worry. And so it's just one of those things that I just really want to have children with my husband. It's that simple. He deserves to have those children in his life just as much as I do. And I really hope it happens sooner rather than later. I mean, I know we personally have chosen to take some time before that happens, but what it comes down to is we want it to happen soon. So, if I'm not ovulating on my own by early next year, we'll go right on Clomid and we'll start our journey to have our kids. And that's really pretty much all I have to say on this matter right now. I mean, I'm sure we'll revisit this later, but for now, that's all that's going on. If you want to know more about the specifics of PCOS and those kind of things, I can do another Get Real With Me video and explain a little more about that. So just know that things are good. Everything will be fine. And I know I'm loved. Thanks to my subscribers. If you aren't a current subscriber, please subscribe down below. And I'll see you later.